fucking 2016, I went from being an iron worker addicted to Percocets and drinking every fucking day for hours and hours on end to an individual finally working on my health. And
Start when we stop, we gon' get it done. Get it when we start, we gon' get it done. Start when we stop, we gon' get it done. Anthony's World.
All right, guys, welcome to an exclusive interview. This is a follow-up to their original podcast. If you have not seen it, make sure you check the link. All right, this is an extension of the LivingIcon Podcast on Anthony's World channel. This is my first time interviewing these guys, but we're putting them in the hot seat. So remember, this is an extension of the first podcast. Hands down, it was amazing. But now we're going to dive in, we're going to dig deep, and we're going to see what these guys are about. So I have the original host of the LivingIcon Podcast right here, Anthony Williams. He's now in the hot seat. He's usually putting people in the hot seat. He's an entrepreneur, a trader, extremely successful. I think he's in his 20s, something like that. He does a lot of fun shit. And we're going to learn about that right now. Then we got Cole DaSilva. Recently met this guy, super cool dude, crushing it in the fitness space, entrepreneur, helps personal trainers scale and build online. Trust me, you're going to want to hear what he has to say. You guys ready for this?
hell yeah, bro.
Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. Let's run it.
Been hanging like this?
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, trading and trainers.
Here, bro. You're going to have to get my attention. There we go.
All right, so I want you to explain a little bit more about what you do, but I want you to do it in a way of like, what do people think you do, and what do you really do?
So people think that all I do is yell and bitch and whine online. That's basically what it is, because if you go to my social media, that's all I do. I bitch about things, I yell online, I call people out. I produce motivational content based off of what other people define. That's why I put motivational speaker in my bio. But what I actually do is I help personal trainers grow and scale their businesses. We've been doing it for the last 4.5 years. I've been in the fitness industry since 2016. I started as a fitness coach, built up a business with my business partner, saw some decent success, and wanted to start helping other personal trainers do the same thing.
Love it. Same question for you. What do people think you do, but what do you actually do?
People think I just trade. They think I just trade online, and that's what that's like what was my image was built about. They think I just trade, and they think I do all kinds of crazy shit. I get the threats that like I'm a scammer or some shit like that. Like,
Always.
So yeah, apparently I'm a scammer. That's what they think that I do. No, but I actually just own a bunch of. I trade obviously, but own a bunch of tech companies, partners. Partners in a lot of different spaces. More than just trading. Outside of the trading industry, just partners in a lot of other stuff. We run a lot of companies and we build a lot of companies and we scale a lot. So
that's awesome. So you guys both said something really interesting right there when you were explaining it. You guys talked about partnerships, right? Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of people online. My business is online. I see a lot of people reach a certain level of success, but what I learn behind the scenes when I get to meet these people is there's a lot of partnerships involved. Yeah. How important do you guys feel partnerships are, and do you think they're necessary to scale to a certain level?
So I'll just speak on my experience, because we've only built the one company and then we bought a gym. But if it wasn't for the partnership I have today, and it wasn't for the partnership that we built, we wouldn't have built the company that we have. It was me coming up out of ironworking, struggling with addiction, struggling with my life. My friend, business partner now, found me, brought me on as a client, and then we just became so close that we became partners. And that yin and yang of having a partner, being able to bounce ideas off, being able to balance out each other's personalities, it helped us scale 10 times faster than anybody else around us, because when he needed to take a step back, I stepped up. Or when I felt like I was blocked emotionally or creatively, he stepped up. Like, it just helped immensely. I think, again, the saying of if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone else means everything. And a lot of people are just too obsessed with having 100% of this small thing than at least 20% of something that could take you way farther.
Yeah, I agree. Partnerships are everything. I have my business partner Q, and we've started 7 years ago, and now they call us the Illuminati of Forex for a reason. So partnerships are everything. We've been able to scale, grow. He picks up where I slack, where he slacks, I pick up. Yeah. My role personally is more of the creative, build, create, and then hand it off. He's more of that going to guide things, and then we had the honor of 3 or 4 years ago, 4 years ago now, bringing Nick on as well, and that him adding that other side of it. And Nick's an attorney as well, so but he he's a retired attorney, is what I'm gonna say. He's
A
our
wild
operations.
attorney is what he is.
Yeah, right. He's our operations officer mostly. So having someone that can actually handle operations and do all of that stuff.
Yes.
And then me being able to be creative. It's kind of allowed me to do what I'm passionate about, which is create businesses now. So those partnerships have been able for us to scale, because we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing now if we didn't have other partners and stuff to rely on and grow with.
Right. No, that makes sense. And I have another follow-up question to that. So you guys aren't traditional business owners. You guys aren't traditional companies, right? Where a lot of people are behind the scenes. There's investors involved. You don't know who the person is that's running a company. Yeah. You guys really built where you're at off your own image, your own personality. So following up on the partnership question, was there a point where you had to let your ego aside in order to realize, like, I'm only going to do this if I have a partner? Because doesn't your ego kind of step in at some point where you think you could do it on your own because it is you that you're building?
Yeah. I mean, for me at first, I was also really young though too. So, I mean, I'm only 28 now. So 7 years ago, I was 21. You know what I mean? So being able, like at that such a young age, and then we brought Nick on when I was 24? Yeah, 24. So 24, 25. And that was like a hard, like, like trying to like say, oh, we got to give up percentages and all that stuff. And, when you're making good money, like all of a sudden, but that's a risk you got to take in order to grow. Cause like when you're making like, let's say $500,000 a month or something like that. And then you're like, oh, I got to give up, 20% of my company now. All of a sudden, like that is kind of like a fuck. But then you realize that it's going to make your life easier in order to create more. And then you grow. So you have to let go of that ego. But like ego has always been like one of those things for me that I obviously, like, I think everyone has an ego. You have to have an ego to be successful. Right. I truly think you have to have, or like a chip on your shoulder. Yes. But it's how you use that ego, and what fuels you to do that. So letting go of an ego for people, like for me, it's like when someone says, "Oh, I had to let go of my ego." No, you didn't. You just didn't know how to control the ego. You got to learn how to control that and say, "Okay, I'm gonna put my ego and use it," because that's a personality trait that everyone has, and that ego can be a very, very good thing. It's a very, very powerful and strong thing that you should put on the forefront. Not get rid of it, but you should learn how to monetize and use it.
Right. I like that. How do you feel about ego?
The balance breakdown, as I talked to you about this yesterday, is ego and humility for me. Now, when it came down to Brian, like, honestly, there was really no ego. I don't think we would have built what we built today if it wasn't for each other, period. Because there was a lot of things that happened in the last 6 years of us building where if I wasn't there to be like, no, or hone it back, the whole company would have burned down, and vice versa. Like, our personalities balance perfectly. But I also, like, I am loyal to a fucking fault. I had nobody growing up. No one growing up. I felt like I was alienated, pushed into a corner, beat down, ridiculed. So when I was able to latch onto that, it even makes me emotional. Every time I talk about B, like my boy, it's like without him, we would not be where we are. Like, and it's so there's no part of me that was like, oh yeah, you get the limelight and I don't, because our companies run differently. Like, he is forefront face of the business. I am back end, kind of like what you were saying, building things out, making things move properly. So even though sometimes the ego pops up, that humility slaps me real quick. Like, this is how it's needed. Yeah, this is what we need to run.
That's what I said too, because like Q, like I give Q the most credit because he's the innovator of Forex. He's the innovation of Forex. Yes, like I created the businesses with him, and like yes, we did all that, but he is the innovator of the industry, like the entire Forex. Like if you type in Forex, you're pretty much just gonna see Q everywhere. Like he is the number one thing in Forex for retail like people. And so like I mean, people ask me all the time like we got some crazy comments because we're two completely different people. He's this tall Jamaican, this tall black Jamaican. I'm the short white kid. You know what I mean?
That's literally my boy.
Literally, they could not be more
Brian
opposite.
Is literally fucking like 6 feet, jack black dude, and I'm this fucking 5'6" short little white guy, bro.
That's awesome.
Exactly the same.
Bro,
yes,
that's
exactly.
crazy. Yeah,
that's wild.
Literally. And so like and so then that happened, and then so I mean, but it's cool to see because like he's like like I said, he's the innovator man of this industry, and then I've been able to take that step back. But there's no way we would have ever built like we talk about all the time is like we are like the combo together that's just the most deadly powerful combo.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys said a little bit about humility online. You guys build a personality online. Like you guys have very big followings. You guys influence a lot of people. I want you guys to dive deep into this. Okay, how do you handle hate online? Because I'm sure both of you, I know both of you guys get it. Maybe you don't. How do you guys handle it? Because I know there's probably a lot of people watching who they look up to you guys. I want to build a personal brand. I want to put myself out there. I've watched some of your videos, like, don't give a fuck about what anybody says, go do it. So what message do you guys have to people who are trying to build their brands and they're getting hate? They're getting the comments.
Well, first, number one, understand that saying I don't care about what other people think is the most bullshit term in the entire world. We all do.
Exactly.
Why? Because then we wouldn't get the cars, we wouldn't get the houses, we wouldn't even start businesses. We would just sit in our houses on the couch drinking and eating food. We move because individuals need some sort of human connection, and they thrive off of that feeling. All right, when your dad says they're proud, or your mom says you're proud, or your friends, or whatever. So you need to understand that in the forefront, because every person's advice is just don't care like I don't. Bullshit. Okay, I've even said, like, you need to cut out the opinions, but it's understanding, number one, that you care about them, and then number two, understanding that you can never win the battle in the first place, so don't even engage. Dude, I get a ridiculous amount of comments on a daily basis of people, but I honestly don't even really call it hate. I get people expressing their opinions to me because I am challenging your core beliefs. So, like, how am I going to call it hate when I basically just held a mirror up to your face and made you realize everything you've been doing wrong for the last 10 years?
Yeah.
That's just now you're angry. Now it's you sharing your opinion, your story, what you've been through. So there's some people that are just like, yo, fuck your shoes, or that's a stupid car. So I'm like, that's hate. So I'm like, I just don't engage. I literally don't even open up my notifications on my TikTok at all. I've never checked.
Really? So would you say that it still triggers you, or do you think you're numb to it at this point?
There's only certain things that do. So like if anybody attacks me, I don't care. Like and again, that's why I preface this entire conversation with, like, we all do care, but it's literally reached a point now over the last 7 years of me dealing with it where it's like I'm numb to it now. Yeah. It doesn't faze me. Like, it just happens on a daily basis. But if people talk about Julia, my wife, or talk about Brian, my business partner, I get extremely aggressive. And then it's like I'll go off. And it was actually like my most viral videos is when people spoke about how I treated people based off of an assumption. And then I couldn't control the emotions on a video. And Daniel, my guy, just ended up capturing it and just went ballistic.
It's real.
Online.
It's real.
That's awesome.
What about, I know you deal with it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of life.
Yeah.
You just come to a point where it's just like, okay, not everyone's going to like you. And it's not their job to like you.
Yes.
It's no one's job to like you. It's your job to love yourself. And so as long as you're happy with yourself, then it doesn't really fucking matter.
So you don't get triggered? Nothing, it doesn't trigger you? Are there certain things?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, the family stuff does. That's a very big trigger. But it's like, everyone online is just all talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
For real.
Everyone online is all fucking talk. And so it's just like, yeah, I mean, just deal with it and just live with it and go with it. Like, have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, like,
just got to face it.
But you also, like, what I realize is, like, I get more love than I get hate.
Always.
But the hate sticks out. Like, some of the biggest videos I've ever seen. And here's what's crazy is, like, I have, like, videos where I talked about, like, kind of like the same thing about, like, buying cars and shit like that. And the most hate that I get is from insecure weak men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not like I have videos where, like, talking about, like, how I, like, built stuff and, like, how and got nice cars so my kids could, like, understand, like I wanted to be the superhero in my kid's life.
Yes.
I didn't want him idolizing someone else.
Fucking get me out.
So like that was like a big video that I had that went really viral, and it was crazy because all the men were like, your kids doesn't care about what car you drive. And I was like, that's cool because your kid's playing with a supercar that's their toy collection that they wish they could ride in. I'm putting my kid in an actual one and driving him around.
Dude.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? Like, and like the thing is that's crazy is, like, one of the videos that I did actually with Rob.
Yep.
And like it went crazy because all the men fucking hated it. But then I'd go through and I was like, I actually, like, read the comments because I was, like, trying to see, like, what scale it was, and women fucking loved it. Mm-hmm. Women were like, what do you mean? I want to stay at home. I wish you would fucking provide.
Yes.
I wish this would happen. And I was like, this is an interesting thing. And that was when my whole perspective changed on men and women. Like, I went through a phase of, like, whereas, like, okay, like, you know, there's a difference in men and women, obviously, and, like, you know, there's a lot of things that women do, blah, blah, blah. And then I went through a phase where I realized it's because of men. I blame men for every single fucking thing that's wrong with this world.
Agreed.
And it's all on their shoulders. Because, like, I'm going to hold a man way more accountable than I will ever hold a woman accountable. Mm-hmm. Because it's, like, it's your job. Like, it's just your fucking job. And if you're not doing your job, then what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Agreed. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So there's another good point there. You guys both have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a boy?
Yeah, he's 11 and a half months old right now.
11 and a half months.
Yeah.
So you're in the shit.
Bro, no, he's chill, bro. He sleeps 10 to 12 hours a night, barely fucking cries. He's the happiest baby in the world,
Just
man.
don't have a second one.
No, I want to have 3.
I'm okay.
I want
You
3,
wait,
dog.
bro.
Yeah.
I said the same thing.
I'm gonna
'cause
hire a maid.
My,
She's gonna look out him all day.
my son was that same way.
Yeah.
Slept all night, super easy, super like
Yeah.
great. Like potty trained himself at 2. Like never had to like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then we had my daughter.
That's what everybody keeps saying. If you have
Yeah.
a girl, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
And they're fucking mean. They're feisty. They're crazy. They don't fucking listen. Like, bro, no. Bro,
touche.
I'm telling you, bro. And then the second one is just fucking ruthless, too.
Yeah.
Like, you ever seen, like, a kid, like I've literally walked into our closet, and she had opened all the drawers, because we have, like, a center island. And she opened all the drawers, climbed up. And she's, like, I mean, she's 2. So, like, well, 2.5 now. But she, like, I mean, like, she's not able to get on. It's, like, this tall, like, from the ground. She opened all the drawers, and I walk in there, and she has all of our clothes out, trying our clothes on the center console. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? like she will literally climb on to like the counters to get fucking like cups out of the thing.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what is this? No, like this is not right. Yeah, they're fucking ruthless. The second one just doesn't care.
Yeah.
No, doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, right, and I'm around you a lot. I know your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like it's just for you guys watching, it is more extravagant than it even looks. So, and I'm not bullshitting.
I don't post half the shit.
No, I'm not bullshitting.
Post like maybe a tenth of the shit.
And you're probably creating a pretty good life for your family, right? Did you guys have a life like that growing up? Did you guys have rich parents? Did you guys have security, trust funds, anything?
I grew up in a 600 to 700 foot trailer, 45 minutes into the country boonies until I was 14 years old. And it was like, that was the stationary house. Once we actually landed there, between under 14, we did like 7 houses, 7 different schools, 3 different cities the entire time. Grew up in nothing. And it was like, for the longest time, that's how I thought my life was, right? I was like, that's it. That's normal life.
That's the ceiling.
And then looking back, I was like, oh shit, we didn't go and get deep freezes from Value Village and random places because we were trying to be thrifty. We did it because we needed to stock them up because we didn't have enough fucking food to feed ourselves for the next couple of months. Like, it was like little things. I had to bathe in 4 inches of bath water with my 2 younger brothers because we couldn't afford to refill the well when we were growing up. So it was like middle to lower class where we were super low at times.
Yeah.
And then like, yay, we'd be middle again because my dad was working as a crane operator out of town.
Wow. How about you? How was it for you growing up?
Mine was different. So like my parents got divorced when I was very, very young. And I went and lived with my mom, and like she always made it work. And then she made it work, and then we moved a lot because I mean she was not a single mom. Like my dad was always there, but like when you're that young, like it's like okay, mom, and then you see your dad on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then if you see your dad on the weekends, if not, and then it went to like once a month that I'd get to see my dad. And then like my dad was always like stable. He was good, you know, like they did their best, right? But like never had like a ton of money.
Yeah.
Nothing like now, right?
Right.
And he owned his own business, so like I mean, obviously owning your own business in like Mississippi, like there's no money in Mississippi, and so like, but like it went through phases, you know. Like I remember like one time, for like 3 years from like 7th grade to like 6th grade to like 8th grade, my mom like made a ton of money. So like I went from like poor to rich, and then my mom lost everything. Lost it all. She went to prison when I was 13
Shit.
for 5 years, and so lost it all. And then that was like a weird transition because we went from like it was just up and down, right? Like it was like we went from like being in like the biggest house in a gated community from a trailer. Like we lived in a trailer at one point. We lived on land, and then we went from like, you know, very minimal to like making a ton of fucking money to then back to poor before she went to prison to poor like Sonic dollar menu like every day in school, and then like back and forth and like moving. I remember like we'd go to a place and we would move houses, and then like because like the way she like I don't know the way she did it or what for some reason we'd move like every 3 months because she couldn't afford to pay the bills. So we'd just move before they'd kick you out and like having no power and stuff like that. But so it's like really weird going from like like having Hummers, new trucks. Like this is when Hummers and stuff were big.
Yeah.
Having the new fucking Hummer and all that
H1
stuff. Yeah, bro. Having all that, being like throwing like the biggest parties, being in like 7th grade, throwing the biggest fucking parties in like middle school, and like talking like 200-300 people, like top of the like school, and then like moving schools like every 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, for like a year and a half, and just like, I mean, we were fucking. She didn't have money. Like we didn't have money, so like boom, boom, boom.
Damn.
Pawning shit to get stuff and stuff like that. And that's when I started my entrepreneur journey. Is I would take my dad would send. It's actually kind of fucked up, but I don't give a fuck. So my dad would send my mom like $200 for like, you know, like every week for me to get stuff right. And so what I would do is like I would ask him to send me more money, like $25 more, and then I'd go to Dollar General and I'd buy $25 in candy. And then I would go to school, and I would sell that $25 in candy for like $80, $50 to $80. So I'd sell like sticks of gum because you couldn't have gum in school.
Yeah.
So I'd literally sell sticks of gum for 50 cents, but I'd buy a whole pack of gum for $1.
Yeah.
And I'd sell them for 50 cents at school, and I was making money, and that was like my first like into the world. And then what else we would do is me and my boy, his name was Corey. We would actually go on the golf courses in the middle of the night. We'd scoop out golf balls and we'd clean. We'd go in and clean them, and then we'd sit on the same hole, and we would literally watch golfers hit on a par 3, hit their ball into the water. It would be like $1, and we'd sell them back golf balls, and they would do it. And then like, it was obviously a very wealthy golf course, and they loved it. And and then we set up a lemonade stand right there, and that was like my first like real like take into that entrepreneur world.
You know, it's funny. As long as you've been around golf balls, you're still not that good at golf.
Fuck, I knew it was coming.
I'm shit at golf.
I knew it was coming.
I'm so bad at golf.
I'm just kidding. He's pretty good at golf.
If you knew how many times the golf ball in the air is just like water, and just goes straight for it. I swear they have like little chips inside of them that just attracts them.
Whenever we go golfing, I'll buy an extra like 4, 5, 6 packs just because I know I'm gonna lose like at least 6 golf balls because I can blast the shit out of a drive, but I can't do shit around the green. There's just no way. So I'll just blast it, and just lose a bunch of them.
So Ivy, this is a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Based on how you guys grew up, did that contribute to your success today?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that going to change for your boys? Because they're not going to get that.
That's something that I think about all the time.
Yeah.
Because so like I didn't have like the entrepreneurial blood like you're talking about. I definitely relate to like the super high up and then low. We didn't have like super highs when it came down to money, but we would always have money. Like, and I tell this to everybody, like we were technically spoiled in some areas. Like we'd have good Christmases where we get like decent presents, and then it would get real fucking bad and like real dark in our household. And there's a lot of things going on. And then I think about it all the time. I talk to my wife about it, and I'm like, this is like, how do I breed that same thing in this little man that will never understand what it's like to go through that, will never experience the emotional and physical and abuse, trauma, all that other shit, won't have to go through that, won't have to couch surf because he doesn't want to go home because he's terrified of everybody. Like all the shit that I think about on a daily basis, it actually hit me. I think he was 6 months old when I was walking down like one of the paths in our house, one of the hallways, and I looked out and saw the view. Came out and he was sitting in his little bouncy chair, and I just like broke down. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, he'll never know.
He'll never know.
He doesn't even understand.
No, can't comprehend.
And that's like the hard one because like as a parent, like you don't necessarily want to like put them through trauma.
Yes.
Like you want to protect them, right? But like what I've recently learned is like I can't put him through the same traumas and the same experiences that I went through. And I mean, I don't know, like they're still young, like who the fuck knows what's going to happen. So like they might experience their own traumas, and they're going to for sure. But like, how do you do that? And like, that's been something I've always had to like battle with. Right. And so like what I've done to this day is I've making sure that he gives up his favorite thing every time, like whatever it is, it's his favorite thing. He has to give it up. So like they're at a park and he's like, has his favorite toy, and another kid walks up to him and he's like, and the other kid was like, oh, that's like, they were like talking, they're like, want to play with the toy, and I was like, and Declan, my son, just gave him the toy, like just gave it to him, and it's like, it's his favorite fucking toy. You know how hard that is for a kid. So my thing is, I've always said from day one, you have to give up the things that you want the most because other kids might not have anything. And so it's not your job to know what it is. It's not your job to know why. It's not your job. It's just your job to make sure everyone around you has more, because then when they than when they met them. It's your job to make sure you give up your shit. You become that lasher because that's what you have to do. Because like, you know, my kids fucking have never flown on a fucking, you know, commercial airline. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, how am I supposed to put them through trauma?
They've only flown private.
Like,
Yeah, see, we ain't there yet. We'll get there, but I'm like, that shit's crazy,
but
bro.
Like, that's my thing. But if you meet my son, like, he like is that type of kid that like he gives his shit up, and like I've instilled that in him from day one, especially him. It's like more people don't have what you've already experienced.
Yeah.
They will never experience what you've experienced in life already at 4 years old. So you're gonna give up everything that you love to them, and then then my goal is to basically make it to where he doesn't have attachment to things.
Right.
I like that a lot.
And so like that's like the only trauma I know how to teach him. Because I'm obviously not gonna like beat him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna like
Exactly.
beat
Can't
him
do
or
that.
something like that.
Because that's
you
the
can,
shit that's
but-
like that's probably the biggest thing that I've had to wrap my head around. Because the first 2 months of my son being born, dude, it was hell. I'm like, my wife saw it. Daniel heard me because Daniel works in my house, right? 6 to 8 hours a day, does video stuff, and he could hear me walking around upstairs after I put him to bed, like losing it, like just the most angry I've been, like breaking down, losing my mind, because I was like, I'm gonna ruin this kid's fucking life. I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. It was like all the shit that I had buried just came out the first 2 months, but then it just clicked. It was like 7 months into him being born, it was like everything just switched. It was like my brain went into like problem solving, and I was like, okay, well, what are the values that I learned through all my trauma? What are the principles I operate on a daily basis? And they just became like my blueprint, my Bible. I'm like, every single day, I'm just operating from those, and I'm gonna drill it till everybody in my household can speak them verbatim, operate from them verbatim. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna teach them.
Core family principles.
Yeah.
Will you guys leave like a trust fund for your kids?
Fuck no.
There we go.
No.
Fuck no, fuck
But
yes.
I don't want a trust fund. I want to teach them how to make money. Like, am I going to leave them with no money? No. I don't believe in the entrepreneurial mind of that. Where it was like, I don't even know who it was. I'm not going to try to air everybody out. But it was like, I saw like these videos, the trending ones, where people are like, they get no cash, nothing when I'm leaving. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I want to teach that. When I say fuck no is because I don't want to create this trust fund that just leaks them money on a daily and weekly basis, because that to me goes against all the principles and core values that I fucking built. But I want to teach them how
makes
to make
sense.
money, and then I want to make sure that they are set up. Like, my goal is the generational wealth. Make sure people are set up. They've got the houses, they've got the cars, and then you get to operate from like purpose.
Right.
Like, what do I want to do on this planet? Because I don't need to think about what I need.
Right. That makes
the goal
sense
for me.
for sure.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm gonna definitely like I already have trust funds set up for my kids. Everything is set up for them to be able to do pretty much whatever they want. Like if I die, whatever the fuck happens, like they're set up for the rest of their life already. But the way I've done it is like I've set things in there that they have to do in order for them to get them. And because like, you know, I can't sit here and I can't say, because what if my son's purpose is to not be an entrepreneur? You know, what if his purpose is to go out and go build schools and help people in other countries and save people's lives? Like, if that's what he wants and that's his purpose, then and I can make enough money to fulfill that, to help him do that, then that's his purpose, right? Because, like, I know for me, like, my purpose in life, I can't be the guy that's going to start a charity and that's going to go out there and, like, do all this crazy stuff, right? I can't, that's not me. Like, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yep.
But I am the guy that can make so much fucking money that can fund all of it.
I've said that verbatim before. I like that.
So like whatever he wants to do, right? So like, yes, they have college funds. Yes, they have all this other stuff. But there's also a lot of tax benefits to having college funds. It's like the number one. It's like fun fact, college fund. It's the number one thing. Well, I don't know about in Canada, but here in America, it's the number one thing. No matter what you do, they cannot touch a kid's college fund.
I don't think that's the same in Canada, but that's just
So here in America, you can put $280,000. It's like It's like between $250,000 and $300,000, something like that. It's different each state, and like you can get fucking caught. Like fuck, dude, you could fucking be running the cartel. Just about. They cannot touch a kid's college fund.
See, that's cool.
So we
like,
put money in there for
that I would do.
because they can't touch
Yeah.
it. And so it's like there's also like selfish reasons. But I'm gonna try and teach him how to run a business. But I can tell by my son's personality already, like he's not very entrepreneurial. He is not an entrepreneur. His mindset doesn't work that way.
You could tell that at that young of an age.
Yeah, he's more of a builder. Like he likes to build things and he likes to help and like do things and like he gets lights up when he builds something, and then like for his like from our daughter, our little sister, he'll build her like her toy Lego set, build it for her and then give it to her. And it's like, what? Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I can tell that that's not his personality.
That's cool.
Now, my daughter, she's a fucking savage. She's fucking ruthless. She's probably gonna be the one that takes over my company. I can already tell you right now. She's the one that's gonna take over my companies and runs them all. He's not gonna be that way. He's more of that, like I could see him going to school to like be an attorney, to learn stuff, and then go overseas and help people.
That's cool.
That's what I can see.
You're literally explaining Yellowstone.
Well,
Have you guys watched it?
Yeah.
The daughter and the son
I just
and
started
the guy
it.
with
We
the
just
land.
Yeah.
Bro, it's so good.
So we buying a ranch? I think I texted
It's so
Conrad.
good, dude. I watched it
texted
twice.
Conrad.
Oh, dude, it's
I watched
so
the whole
good.
thing twice, bro. I'm
I
fucking
think
obsessed.
I texted Conrad and I was like, yo, I'm watching Yellowstone. How does Montana sound? I was like 1,000 acres in
Bro,
Montana, ranch.
It's so sick.
I want a helicopter that just flies me around and
Yeah,
checks on
bro.
everything. So, but like I can just see that, like I can just see that, like through like the way he thinks and stuff like that. And I mean, it might change, you know,
For sure.
but as of right now, he hasn't had really like traumas.
Well, and I like that. I'm like, when it comes down to the trust fund and everything else, that rules and stipulations, things they have to do, 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal. I'm like, but I don't believe in, again, let's just make sure these kids don't
Oh,
want to
no,
do shit.
no.
Never
that's
works.
like, and that's where, even though I don't like the trending videos or I'm like, I'm not going to leave nothing for my kid, I understand why they're doing it, because
Right.
you have all these kids nowadays, and you've probably seen them, and I've seen them, and you've seen them, that just want money and they don't want to do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And then they just become these toxic, just pessimistic, negative individuals. on a daily
Demasculine.
basis.
And what's that
Yes.
saying where is it the grandpa drove a,
No.
what is it? You guys know
the
the exact saying?
great grandfather walked to work. The grandfather rode a bus to work. The father drove a Ferrari to work. The son will walk to work.
Oh, really?
Repeats itself.
It repeats itself. It's a
Has to
weird
repeat
cycle.
itself. Because at some point, they never had to earn it. At some point, they're gonna get it,
Yeah.
and they're gonna lose it.
Yup. So like
starts over. History repeats
and it's
itself,
hard
right?
because like obviously like your best thing is, but like I said, man, like I'm a very fucking selfish person. I'm a very selfish person. Like I'm building this shit for me 100%.
Yeah.
And so like is it going to affect his life? Yeah, but it's my job to make sure that it doesn't affect it negatively.
Right.
And it affects it in the right way.
Right.
Because like I'm not going to stop building, like I know so many people that stop their life when they have kids. They stop doing what they want to do. They stop living their life. And
I have something to say about
that was like the number one thing I told Megan. I was like, look, we're not fucking changing our life. Like our son was 2 weeks old at a brewery. We had him 2 weeks later. We're at a fucking brewery
Bro, I get it.
outside. Like I'm not changing my life. Like Declan was growing up. Like fucking, we're playing beer pong, and he was like strapped on us. Me and Megan would just play beer pong. like we're not changing our fucking life for you. You're gonna live inside of our life.
Dude, I get it 100%. I said that to my wife because, again, it was a very weird decision for me to have kids. There was a lot of shit that happened. So it was like, I always said I wanted them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it became a reality, like, oh, shit's about to happen, I went into full fucking panic mode. My wife was like, figure your shit out or I'm leaving.
Get yourself
like,
together.
Figure it out, dude. So we figured it out. We ended up having kids. But it was like before and afterwards, I literally sat her down and I'm like, I refuse to be that fucking soccer dad. It's not going to happen. I'm not driving the kid to fucking practice to sit there, to sit in my fucking ass and drink on the couch. It will not happen. Nope. I'm doing shit. We're traveling. We're making money. I'm working on my goals. I'm working on my fitness. I'm putting me first so I can give you the best version of me.
Yep.
And I'm like, I refuse to do that shit. I hate it. I think it's fucking weak. And
Yeah.
I've attacked a lot of fucking people for it. I think just put like, kids are born and then everything else is gone and the only priority is the kid, but then you neglect your health and your
Right.
mindset and your business, and then that kid has got to grow up like us.
Yep.
They got no fucking money, they got no purpose, they got no one to look up to because the only thing they did is show up. And that's where I go against that saying of like, presence is the only thing that matters.
No.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Facts.
Yeah.
Presence is dope. I agree. I would love to have that support. All right, having that support means a lot. But it sucks if you're in a fucking shack. Then the presence doesn't matter because you're like, Dad, why are we living in a fucking house with no roof? Why can't we feed ourselves? Why do I gotta bathe with my fucking brothers in 4 inches of water?
Right.
Right? Like it's so stupid.
I said that to me. That's like Megan's like, well, you know, something like, but I'm like, you gotta remember, like, I work my ass off so you can be present. That's
Yes.
your job is to be
Right.
present. It's not my job to be present. It's my job to instill morals and the reality of the world. Not like it's to teach them how to do things. It's not there. Like it's
Right.
not there.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest, I would say, conflict with in households and marriages and couples. And like when they have children, they put their kids first. And it's like, no, like that should never. You should always put, you know, yourself, then your partner, then your kids. Because if there's no foundation, then there's nothing at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So So, but what both of you just said, I have a good segue into this. So I read this crazy stat, right? Because I'm in health and wellness. I focus on weight loss, obesity. This was one of the craziest stats to what you said. If the parents are overweight or obese, there is a 99% chance that the kids will also be overweight or obese.
Yeah.
If the parent was fit or healthy weight, there was a 1% chance that that kid was going to be obese or overweight.
Yeah. That's
crazy. 1%.
Yeah.
99% if they're overweight. So my question to you guys is, how important and at what point in your life did you start taking nutrition and exercise seriously? And how does it impact who you are now?
Bruh, in fucking 2016, I went from being an iron worker addicted to Percocets and drinking every fucking day for hours and hours on end to an individual finally working on my health. And if I didn't do that, me and my wife wouldn't be married today. I wouldn't have a son. I'd probably be in a very, very dark place, even darker than I currently was at that point. Fitness is everything. I truly believe that fitness is the foundation of all fucking success. Because if, again, there's a lot of real successful obese motherfuckers in the world. But then they pass it on to their kids. And to me, that's straight up child abuse, dog.
Yeah.
You don't know how to fucking monitor what your kid puts in your mouth. What is wrong with you?
I mean, so I agree. I disagree a little bit on both. I don't think fitness is the foundation. Everyone that I talk to, everyone's like, fitness is the foundation. I don't think it's the foundation, but I also understand that, like, am I in the best shape ever? No, but I watch what I eat. I fast every day, drink plenty of fucking water. So it's like, it's a staple point in my life. Like, it definitely is a staple point in my life, but I don't think for me, it was never the foundation. But I started working out when I was 16 because I was the smallest kid. And so, like, what I did is I went from like 80 pounds in like 7th grade to 160 in one summer. Just, I literally gained like, I think it was like 60 to 70 pounds one summer, and got strong. And so, like, it definitely started and helped my entrepreneur journey. I will say that. But like, I went through phases, like, obviously, like everyone does. And like, I let myself get out of shape. And then I get myself back in shape. Then I let myself get out of shape. Then I let myself get back in shape. Yeah. So, like, it definitely is a staple point, and it needs to be. But I don't think it needs to be, like, obviously you're in, like, the fitness industry, so it has to relate more to you on that. But, like, for me, it's, like, I'm not the guy, I don't want to work out 5 days a week. I don't want to, like, I'd rather go on a walk. I would rather just eat healthy, eat less, like, be moderate, you know what I mean, with what I eat, how I eat. I don't want to be the guy that spends 2 hours in a gym a day. Like, it's just not me. I have zero desire to do that, right? I would rather do just about anything. Anything. But I do think that you have to have fitness and health on the forefront of what you're doing, just because it's just, you live a better life. You have more function. Like, you know, like, go sit in a sauna. Like, I personally would rather go sit in a sauna for 25 minutes and meditate than go hit a gym.
See, and I want to touch on that because I agree with everything you're saying. I think there's 3 pillars of your goals in your life: your wealth, health, and relationships. Health doesn't just mean fitness or the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's mind. It's the sauna. It's the mobility. Because, like, even though, like, you don't take your fitness as serious as me, you still train your ass off. Like, we fucking train today. Like, you push yourself in the gym. Fitness is my foundation of success because I was lost in life. I had no purpose. I had no direction. I had no discipline. I couldn't stop myself from drinking a 40. I couldn't stop myself from buying another 100-pack of pills. So it was like, it became my new addiction. And I fucking do not like training 6 days a week. I don't like doing 6 days a week of training and then another 9 hours of boxing. But then when I do it, I just feel like a fucking monster. Like, I am that superhero for my son. I'm like, every time he feels like he won't be able to do something, I'm like, well, my dad's fucking doing everything. And it's just become like this thing that's just cemented me in exactly what I needed to do every day.
So do you feel, and I want you to touch on this too, so let's talk a little bit about drug use, right? Alcohol, drug, the whole thing. When you have an addiction to something, do you truly feel that you took the same tendencies of that addiction and transferred it over to entrepreneurship and success, that addictive personality? Did you transfer it over? And same question to you. And also, do you feel that in order to be uniquely successful, you have to have somewhat of an addictive personality?
To a certain degree, yeah. Like, I didn't take the traits from my addiction and put them in entrepreneurship. We kind of talked about this yesterday. I've always been an all in or all out motherfucker. Like, I'm either 100% in or I do not care and I don't want to do it. I'm like, if when I played sports in school, I was either all in or I'm like, that's a stupid sport, I'm not playing it. So when it came down to like the addiction, my addiction started with Percocets because I was actually in pain ironworking. I was doing 10 to 12 hours outside every day. And you guys know when you take a hammer and you hit a piece of metal, it vibrates your hands? I was doing that every day, and it got to a point where my hands were like chicken feet. At 22 years old, I couldn't open my hands anymore.
Damn.
So I went to doctor after doctor after doctor, and they couldn't help me. So I supplemented and figured out a solution so I could keep working and grind it out. So it was like, it was just all in. Like I wanted to work. So that became an addiction through that. So I think I've always had that trait of being like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going balls to the fucking wall.
So I'm going to let you talk real quick because I have something funny to say about this. So earlier today at the gym, Chris walks in, right? And I ask how he golfed with Anthony, right?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, how was the golf? And then I always ask, how did Gerald do, his dad? Then I ask, how did Anthony do? And Chris goes, you know, he just tries to swing so hard all the time. And I go, Chris, this motherfucker's got one speed. His entire life, everything he does is one speed.
Yes.
That's why he is where he is.
Yes.
So I want you to touch on the addictive part.
So for me, I got very, I'm gonna say like blessed in a way that my addiction has from day one been money. I was addicted to making money, and then the moment I made $1, how do I make 2? How do I make 4? How do I make 6? Like that was my addiction from the youngest point of my life since I can remember. My addiction has been making money, and you know, I just got lucky. I got blessed in that. Like I never had the addiction. I never had the addictive personality to other things. I was addicted to working out when I was younger, and I had to do it. Didn't matter what it was. But like for me, it was just always money. Like how do I make more money? How do I make more money? How do I make more money? And it was a good thing that it was a blessing and a curse. You know, because for me, I've always been that personality that it's never enough.
Yeah.
Everything that I have right now, still not enough. And I have everything.
Yeah.
Everything and more that you could ask for, still not enough. And so like for me, that was my biggest addiction is just money, 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 money. And it can be a bad thing. So probably like I would say like 3 years ago, I went into a place where no matter what I did, I woke up every single morning knowing that I was going to make over $1 million a month. And then like, do you know what kind of like, and it like fed that addiction. And like, so like when you have the money, when your addiction is gone, because you know no matter what you're going to have it, it can put you in a very bad place because now you have nothing to look forward to and chase.
Yep.
And so that was a very, very big ordeal for me. And that's when I like started finding more like purpose and passion and helping things and helping people and bringing things on and growing companies and helping other people. And so like, it took me like 1.5 years. Like I got really out of shape. I got like all kinds of stuff. Like it was bad, like drank a lot just because you could wake up, dude. And like, I mean, like I tell people all the time, like you don't realize like how crazy it is. And I'm not like saying like, oh, pity me or whatever, but it's like when you can wake up every single day and do nothing but go have fun, pick a place in the world that you want to go to, travel there, do whatever you want, drink all fucking day, have fun, do it. Money is no longer an option. Like when it becomes completely not an option, your whole perspective on everything changes really, really fucking fast and it goes crazy. And so like you have to have purpose, you know, like you have to have that purpose. And like, I mean, dude, it's fucking crazy. But like, I got lucky that my addiction was money. But then, like I said, it did fucking affect me a lot. And then like now my passion is just helping people grow and build and learn and teach things. And so building things for passion and just having fun, taking it day by day, one day at a time and saying like, damn, like, you know what I mean? But like, that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. And I want to start talking about it more is what happens after you make the money. Because I'm involved in entrepreneur world, right?
Yeah.
And everyone is like trying to make money. So like when you have a purpose, like you're gonna wake up. Like that's like there's a lot of reasons. Like people ask me like, why do you have so many unfinished tattoos? Because it gives me a purpose to get another tattoo. Yeah. It gives me a reason to finish that tattoo. So like I have like my entire body, like from besides this, like besides my arms, is all completely unfinished. All started tattoos that are all completely unfinished. Because I need to have a reason and a purpose to keep going. And if I don't have that, then I'll fucking fall into that same routine.
I love that shit.
So last question, then we're going to shut it down. This next generation of men and how things are playing out. How do you guys feel? No, exactly, because you guys are like it's your platform. Like you're trying to inspire these. How are you guys going to change that? What are you guys doing
I
to
think
contribute
it's actually
to that?
changing now. I currently think it's changing. I think, it went through a lot of bad, crazy shit.
Yeah.
But I can see it, man. I'm seeing young entrepreneurs, young men hit me up on Instagram and they're like, dude, you fucking motivated me. He was like, I had one person and he straight up was just like one of the reasons I like when I'm starting that book, The Better Man Project. We don't know what we're going to call it, but that's kind of like cool. My thing. And the reason I really want to start it is I had a guy come in and he messaged me and he was like, I'm depressed, I'm upset, like I hate my life, I'm about to have a kid, blah blah. He's like, tell me all this shit. And he's like, I think about killing myself because then my kid would have money if I did this. And it's funny that this is actually what I told him. I literally said, go get a 6-pack. I said, go get a 6-pack and then come back to me.
Yes.
And then come back to me. And then like a month later, he sent me a picture of him having a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And he was like, holy shit, I got more energy.
Yeah.
And then I gave him another goal.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and then I said, and the next goal was like, learn how to make $50 a week extra outside of your job. And then he did that. And then I came back and then the next week it was something else, like a different goal. I was like, I gave him just like a list of goals like over these like 6 months. And it was like, one of them was like, learn how to hold your breath underwater for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that has absolutely nothing to do. And he was like, but it's worked thus far, so why not?
Yep.
And he went and learned how to hold his breath underwater for 2 minutes. And then at the end of it, we were like talking, and like he completely like changed his life. Like in the year, like making good money. We still talk all the time. Right. And he was like, he's asked me, like this happened. The reason I bring this happened like 2 weeks ago. He's like, why'd you tell me to hold my breath underwater? And I was like, to be honest with you, I didn't know what to say. I just wanted to give you something that you had a purpose.
Yeah,
right.
You had a purpose to do something, and then like that was that. So my goal now is just I want to keep giving kids tasks to do, give them tasks to do, and like make them keep chasing tasks because my task, like I said, was always to just make money, and that gave me my purpose: make money, make money, make money. So giving people tasks to accomplish, you feel better when you accomplish something.
Yeah, dude, purpose is everything across the board. And I agree. I think that the narrative is changing with the new generation of men. And you got to thank like the fucking pillars that be for doing that shit. I'm not even going to say their names right now. Everybody knows who the fuck they are.
The Tates.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's like you got to thank them, dude. Like it's those motherfuckers set a trend and set a path. And as drastic as some of the shit they say is, or like, again, a Wes or myself or you sometimes like online, it's needed because it swung so fucking far. So people needed to swing back just as far to get things going in the right direction. And I think it's changing. I really do. I get messages every day, dude. And it's like emotional shit where I'm like, I'll have conversations, the same thing that you are, where I'm like deep diving into people's lives and trying to give them tasks and like get out of your house and do things and move your body and start writing stuff down. It makes me very happy because I'm like, okay, for a while there, I thought we were all fucked. I was like, we're screwed, dude. I'm like, everything's going in a bad direction. I'm like, my son's going to grow up in a horrible place. I've already chosen he's not going to fucking public school. We're going to be teaching him some other things.
I want to go to school.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so sick. I'm like, and so where you teach them shit that they need to learn, right? That you need to learn. But yeah, like, I think the more men that speak up about the shit that you said and that actually express what purpose is and why it's so needed, everything will start to correct itself in a positive way. It's like I've said it multiple times before, and it's like a very ego-driven thing to say, but I'll say it anyways. My goal, my purpose is to be remembered forever. All right, and the reason why is because when I was a kid and I watched the movie Troy, and Achilles looked down at that kid and said, "No one will remember your name." Shit fucked me up because it made me realize that we could be on this planet for 100 years, die, and be forgotten right away. I just refused to let that happen. So I was like, I'm just going to speak purpose into every individual that I possibly can. And I have another tagline that I always say, which is hate me. Because I'd rather tell you the truth and have you hate me than you hate yourself, because then hopefully you'll change your life and your whole family will benefit. Yep. So that's the goal. Every day it's to make one more person aware. Yeah.
And one more person aware. People need a reason to like hate and things. Like, you know, I have a lot of quotes like that I like love and that I talk about. And there's two quotes that I always reference. And one of them is, this is for everybody. So it's my favorite movie, A Knight's Tale, with Heath Ledger.
Love that shit.
And that's the true entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, dude.
And he says in that movie, the one thing that he says that's always stuck with me: no matter what, a man can always change his stars. And so for me, it's like just that, having that hope and belief means that the world is going to change. We need people to spark that change, and we can be that change. And honestly, thank you for watching and sharing and talking about this, because it's all for you guys. But like that tells me right there the world can change. And then the other one is, it's actually kind of funny, but it's from the new Dracula. Well, it's older now, but he says sometimes the world doesn't need another hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.
100%.
And so becoming a monster in everything that you do, becoming strong and powerful, those right there, that's powerful. So realizing that no matter where you start, you can always change your life. And then sometimes what it takes is for you to become an absolute monster in everything, and changing the perspective of, because I know a lot of things that are truly, truly evil to do in this world, but given the right circumstance, they're good things.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
So become that monster.
All right. Well, we are going to shut this down, but guys, I want to let you guys know what they just said. My advice to you is let that shit live rent fucking free in your head. Let it live rent free in your fucking head, because that is the shit right there. Yep. Any last words?
Take messy action every single day. I say that
Love
usually at the end of every podcast. It's what's helped me see all success. It's helped me change my entire life. Get out of your head. Stop listening to people around you and just take messy action. Small things every day.
Boom.
Yep.
Anything? You're done?
I agree with that. Yep.
Hell yeah.
I agree with that.
All right. And give us your Instagram. Where do people find you?
You can find me everywhere at Cole DaSilva. My middle name is Luis. You'll find it. Check it out. It's the verified accounts. Don't get scammed.
You'll see it.
Love it. Love it. Anthony's World.
Anthony's World. Anthony's World. All right. Thank you guys so much. Maybe we'll do a part 2. I think we could dive a little deeper into this.
Yeah, have some fun.
Thank you guys. I had fun. Thank you for allowing me to host.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Living Icon. Thank you guys.
Also,
see you guys later.
please remember, comment, like, subscribe, and share.
Keep it like
so we can get this rolling.
I'm going to keep it like this the whole time. There we go.
Were you there the whole time?
Perfect, bro. Oh, yeah.
Ah, shit.
That's perfect. There we go.
That's a wrap.
There we go. Perfect. Peace.
Start when we stop, we gon' get it done. Get it when we start, we gon' get it done. Start when we stop, we gon' get it done.
Anthony's World.